Hello everyone, welcome to CodeSpot. This is Sabarna, I'm a web developer, and today we are going to learn HTML5 semantics. What is HTML5 semantics? A basic HTML tag do not give you any information about what the content is, like which is the main content, which is the navigation, which is the header, which is the footer, etc. So HTML5 semantics solves these shortcomings by giving you the specific tag names. Like for this example, if you see in this example, here if you see everything is a div tag with an ID saying it is a header or footer, etc. So ID doesn't mean anything to the search engine or the website. So the tags are basically what it means. So the tags here just say div or spam. So this would just basically tell the website how to display the content. Whereas if you see here, this is an HTML5 semantic tags where you have header, footer, and specific tag names defining that specific content. Necessary as and this HTML tags is not going to tell how the content should be presented. We need to do the CSS part, but this is going to tell what the content is all about. Why do we need HTML5 semantics? Why do we need to understand the meaning of the content? One of the important use of HTML5 semantics is to optimize your page for SEO. Why do we need to do that? SEO, for someone who doesn't know what SEO is a search engine optimization, which is used to optimize your page in order to get more views for your website. If you want to get more views, you need to rank higher in the web search. How do search engine rank the pages? They would scan your website, they would try to understand the content, and then they would rank your page according to the user's search query relevance. So if you want to communicate, so it is very important for you to communicate to the search engine which is the main content and which is not the main content, which is just like which is an additional content, etc. So they can understand your website better and they can rank your page higher. This is one of the important uses of HTML5 semantics. And the second most important uses of HTML5 semantics is for blind people. For people who are well sighted, it is easy to visualize which is the navigation, which is the main content, which is the footer, etc. But for someone who's blind, they would use a screen reader to understand what the page is all about. So again, it is very important for the search engine to know which is the navigation, which is the main content. So it would be more comfortable for a blind user to go through your website. Now that we are done with the introduction of HTML5 semantics, let's look at some of the HTML5 semantic tags. The first one is the header, which is the header of the document, of course. It contains the logo, the name of the company, the navigation, etc. The next one is the navigation. Navigation is used to navigate different parts of your website or even outside the website. Maybe you can give some social links as a part of this navigation, because it is again navigating to different parts of the website, of your website or external website. Anything can be included within the navigation. The next is the main content. This is the very important content of your website. The next is the aside content, which is not so important, like you would mostly have additional articles in this aside section, which is not very important, but it is still relevant to your web content. The next one is the article. Contents inside the article tag is considered very important. And the content inside the article tag must stand independently out of the whole website. So for example, if you have a blog post, so you don't have to go through the entire website to understand about the blog post. So they can be given inside an article tag. The next one is the section tag. Section tag is used to thematically group the contents, that's it. So if you have a heading and a text, you can group that into a section. For example, you can have an About Us page as a particular section. You can have different sections within articles, you can have multiple articles within sections. So it is completely up to you to how to group your elements. If you see this example right here. So here in this example, you have the header, you have some navigation inside the header, and then you have the main content here and the footer down here. So inside the main content, you have an article and you have an aside section. Inside the article, you have multiple sections, and again a lot of aside section in here as well. So again here it would say this aside section is not very important. This is one of the example of how you can group different tags You can have multiple article tags under section tags. You can have multiple section tags under one article tag. You can have multiple sections within sections. So you can mix and match according to how you logically structure your website. Now with that being said, let's see some of the other HTML5 tags. This is figure and fig caption tag. Figure is used to say that here there's an image. So you would put an image tag inside this tag, and you can have a fig caption that would describe what this image is about. A brief description about the image. So now that we have seen some of the basic HTML5 semantic tags, let's build a very simple website to demonstrate this. So this is a simple website that we are going to be building today. In the header you have a heading and the navigation, and then this is the main content, and here is the footer. In the main content you have an article and an aside section. Inside the article you have different sections, so each one is a section here. So let's see how to build a website like this using the HTML5 semantics. So here I'm going to use brackets as a code editor. So here I have some images already, and I'm going to create 3 files: index.html and style.css. In index.html, I'll start with HTML head and body tags. Inside the head tag, I'm going to give a link to our CSS file. And then I'm going to give a link to a Google Fonts and Font Awesome. This Font Awesome is required to give icons, have these icons like Facebook, Dribble, Behance. For this icons, we're going to use Font Awesome, and we need Google Fonts for the font family. Next, I'm going to give a title, and I will name it as Portfolio. Inside the body, we'll start with the header, main, and footer tags. Let's start one by one. For the header tag, in the header tag, if you see, I have a heading, a paragraph, and the navigation. So I'll give the heading first, h1 tag. And I'll also go in for the navigation. I'll use the nav tag, and I'll include all the links inside. Now let's go to the main section. So inside the main section you have an article and an aside section. So inside the main section, first I'll create an article tag and an aside section, aside tag. So inside the article, first I'll start with a h1 and a paragraph. Now for every other part, I'm going to include them inside a section. So a section consists of a heading, an image, and a paragraph. So rest of it I'm going to include inside sections. So this will be a section, this will be a section, and this is going to be a section. So there are 3 section tags here. So for the first one, so as you can see, first you have a heading, so I'm going to give that in the h2 tag. For the image, I'm going to use the figure tag. So inside the figure tag, I'll give the img and the figure caption. Now after the figure tag, I'm going to give a paragraph. Similarly, I'm going to create another section tag that consists of a heading and a paragraph. and one more section tag. Alright. Now inside the article we have 3 sections. Now let's move on to the aside section. In the aside section you have an image, the name of the person, links, and a paragraph. So let's go ahead and do that. So here in the aside section, I'm going to give an image, so these are the icons from the Font Awesome. So if you go to the website, to the Font Awesome website, you will be able to see the format, you will be able to see the syntax of these icons. Now moving on to the footer section. The footer section, you have the contact information of the author. So with that, the HTML part is over. Let's use the live preview option right here to see how the page looks. This is how the page looks like. There is no styles applied to this page yet, so let's go to style.css and apply all the styles. I will start with the global indicator, setting the margin and padding to 0. For the body tag, I'm going to give the font family. And now the font is applied. Next, I will start with the header. For the header first, I'm going to give the text align to center and set the margin down. So the text in the header, everything is now in the center and there is some margin at the top. Now let's style the navigation. First, I'll have a margin. I'll give an ID for this navigation to differentiate. So here I'm going to give the ID as main navigation. And I'm going to use that ID here. I'm going to give the margin and padding first. So there you have the margin and padding for the navigation. Now I'm going to give the border at the top and the bottom alone. So first I'm going to give the border width. For top and bottom it's 1 pixels, for left and right it is 0. I didn't give the border color and style, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll give the border color as black or light gray. I'll give the border color as light gray. Give the border style as solid. I'll give all the border properties, border width, color and style. So now you can see there is a border on the top and bottom and none on the right and left. And you have the space because of the margin. Now let's style the links. First I'll give some padding. Set the text to uppercase. Color to black. Font size and font weight. So as you can see, the links are presented properly now. Now let's style the paragraph inside the header. I'll set the font's properties here. I'll set font style, italic, give the color as gray, and the font size as 13 pixels. There you go. Now let's move on to the main content. So you have the main content, and the subtags would be article, and the child elements would be article and the aside section. Now, I want the article to have a width of 70% and the aside to have a width of 20%. The rest 10% would have the space between the article and aside section. Now, when I do this, actually nothing happens here. So here we need to mention clear both for the float properties to work on. As soon as I set this width, you can see the article takes only 70% of the width, and this is the aside section that comes beneath the article section. Now we need to give the style for the image so it would appear smaller to fit in the 20% size. So right now we'll not deal with that. We'll go to our main section and we'll start styling that. First, here I'm going to give this plain block, and I'm going to give a padding 10 pixels top and bottom, 60 pixels left and right. So there you go, you have space towards the left and top. Now let's focus on the article. Article, I'll say the float as left, so the aside section can come to the right once we reduce the size of the image. And I'm going to give padding 20 pixels all around for the article. Now for the paragraph in article tag, I'll give the color as gray, like this. Now let's move on to each and every section. First I'll give some margin top. Again, here in the section, if you see, I want the image to be in the left and this paragraph in the right. So I'm going to set clear both for the parent element, so the floating can be applied, the floating property can be applied. So I'm going to set that and set the display to block. Now for the figure, image, I'll set the width, height and margin. And I give float right, float left. Now the paragraph comes to the right. Sorry, I need to give float left for the figure itself. Now when I give float left for the figure tag, you can see the figure tag is to the left and the paragraph is to the right. Now I'll give some style for this fig caption as well. There you go. Now for this I'm going to give some margin top, so I'll do that for all the paragraph. There you go. Now let's go to the aside section. For the aside section, I'm going to give padding and text align. Now I'll give the properties for the image in the aside section. I'm going to give the width, height, I'll give the border radius as 50%, so it is circular. Now it is square. Sorry, this is not border, it is border radius 50%. When I do that, you can see this is circular. Now let's go ahead and set float right to the aside tag. As soon as I do that, you can see it is coming towards the right. Let's go ahead and style the image further. Sorry. I'm going to give the margin bottom as 10 pixels. There you go. Now let's give design for the social icons. So let's style each and every icon. I'll give some padding, color and font size. The styles are not applying because I've given a wrong. I've given this as a class name, but this is an ID, not a class. So let me quickly change that. And there you go, the styles are applied. Now let's design this author name. I'll give some font weight, font size for this author name. There you go. And let's also style the paragraph right here. There. Now for the footer information, now the footer has gone to the right. We need to set it down, so let's go ahead and style that. This is how it is. Let's set the display to. And then you go went down. Give the font size and color as well. Sorry, don't want padding all over, just one for the left and right. So padding 0 for the top and left and right 60%. There you go. Now you have space here due to this padding, so let's make this padding for the paragraph. Now when you do that, there is no horizontal scroll here. Now there is nothing complex about this website. I have not included any responsiveness here. I have just given some basic idea on how to use HTML5 Semantics to build a very simple website. You can now use this to create any kind of website that you want. It is highly recommended for your SEO purposes. So this is a very simple website to demonstrate HTML5 Semantics and how to use these tags in real time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give this video a like if you liked it. Do not forget to share your feedbacks in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section, and do subscribe to CodeSpot to watch more such videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye.